Dear students, Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to lecture number 2 of labor economics. Students, we will discuss the theory of individual labor supply today. Before it, we discussed in the last class about the labor economics, and in this is the continuity of that lecture. So let's start the theory of individual labor supply. In supplying labor, the human beings are curious and diverse a lot. Adam searches a second job while Anderson takes numerous unpaid absences from his only job. There may be a person who may be doing the second job and a person who may be remain absent from the current job. The college student Brown works full-time while attending school. Roommate Bailey works part-time and the classmate Brickman doesn't work at all. Again, we have the three individuals of the college students. One is doing the full-time job while attending the school. The second is doing a part-time, and the third one is not doing. This means that the preferences of the people to work that differ across the individuals. Conway quit her job to raise her young children. Cohen, also with young children, continues to work full-time in workplace. One individual maybe leave the job in order to rear up her children, while the other individual may be working along with rearing the children. Similarly, the Fleming supplies more hours of labor when her wage rate rises, and Hernandez cuts back on his work hours. We may have seen so many individuals who may increase the work hours, they work for the longer time when the wage rate is high, and they work less when the wage rate is low. But we can also have so many individuals who cut their working hours with the rise in the wage rate. This means that the supply of labor or the working intentions differ across the individuals. So, how do individuals decide on the number of hours of labor, if any, to supply in the labor market? Our main goal in this lecture is to develop and apply a basic theory of individual labor supply that will help answer these questions. We have let's discuss. As you see at the end of the slide, the material has been taken from Contemporary Labor Economics. The reference is given here. We discussed the basic model, the work-leisure decision, whether to go for the work or whether to go for the leisure. Imagine an individual with certain amount of education and labor force experience and therefore a given level of skills. Suppose we have an individual with given education, skills, and the experience. That individual having a fixed amount of time available must decide how much should be allocated between the work and leisure. So that individual, suppose it's me, Jagres, that I have fixed time, 24 hours, to allocate between the leisure or the work. So I will try to allocate this time, this 24 hours between the work and leisure. Work is actually the time which we allocate for earning. In the present context, work is the time devoted to a paying job. So, in this lecture, in this course, the work means the time which is allocated for the earning money. Second is the leisure. Leisure means the non-labor market activity, which may be rest, which may be going to the beach, which may be going to watch a movie, or preparing food, or whatever the activity which is non-food, which is non-paying. Two sets of information necessary to determine the optimal distribution of individual work time between the work and leisure. Two factors, there are two factors, two types of information, the quantitative information and the qualitative information, or the subjective information and objective information, which helps us in the time allocation. The first one, the subjective information is given by the indifference curves, while the objective information is given by the budget line. So, in our today's lecture, we will discuss the labor budget line and the labor indifference curves. So, we start with the indifference curve. That what is the indifference curve for labor? As applied to the work-leisure decision, an indifference curve shows the various combination of real income and leisure time that will yield some specific level of utility or satisfaction to the individual. What is indifference curve? It is a combination of income and leisure. Income and leisure time that will yield the same satisfaction to the individual, the same utility to the individual. Uh, we see in this diagram, this I1, this is the the indifference curve, which shows the allocation of time between the income and the hour of leisure. So, daily income on the, we have in this, we can see the income is on the y-axis and the hours of leisure on the x-axis. So this the second, we have measured the income of the y-axis. The horizontal axis shows us that we have 24 hours of time. As we discussed in the beginning of this lecture, that individual has a fixed time. That fixed time is the 24 hours we see in this diagram. That our individual will have to allocate his 24 hours between the leisure and the earning income. If he earns income, he will have to sacrifice the leisure. If he is enjoying the leisure, he will have to sacrifice the income. So, according to the definition of the indifference curve, each combination of income and leisure designated by any point on the I1 is equally satisfactory. Each point on the curve yields the same level of utility to the individual. So, we see that in this curve, all the points A, B, C, D, all this gives same level of utility to the labor, such that he is indifferent to any particular combination A, B, C, or D. We derive here the income leisure indifference curve. The indifference curve shows the various combination of goods, income, and leisure that yield same level of the total utility. The curve slopes downward because the additional utility associated with more leisure must be offset by less income so that total utility remains unchanged. The convexity of the curve reflects a diminishing marginal rate of substitution of the leisure for income. Look at this figure. We see that if you are the earning high income, then the leisure will be low. Below this, we have a line which is the inverse of the leisure working. We see here that if the income is he is earning this much of income, he will be enjoying just 3 hours of leisure, while he will be giving the 21 hours of working, which is very high. So we see that this curve has a negative slope, which shows the inverse relationship between the hours of leisure and the income. Because if he is enjoying more income, he will have to sacrifice the leisure. or if he is enjoying the leisure, then he will have to sacrifice the income. We can see here that in order to get an additional hour of the leisure, he will have to sacrifice 4 units of the income. So this means that the inverse relationship shows that there is the negative slope. The second property of this interference curve is it is convex to the origin. Our downward sloping curve can be concave or convex or linear. We know that in figure 1 our interference curve is convex to the origin. We see here that this interference curve is convex to the origin. Why it is so? The absolute value of the curve slope diminishes as we move from the curve from south to the southeast. Why interference curves are convex to the origin? First, what are the reasons? First, the slope of curve reflects individual subjective willingness to substitute between the labor and income. We know that this is the willingness to substitution between income and the leisure. Second, individual willingness to substitute leisure for the income varies with the amount of the leisure and income initially processed. Similarly, an individual becomes increasingly reluctant to give up any good as it becomes increasingly scarce. Consider the point AB on the range reference curve where the individual has a relatively large amount of income, very little leisure. Here, the individual would be willing to give up a large amount of abundant income in exchange for an additional, say, scarce the leisure. Look here. He has scarce leisure. We see here that out of the 24 hours, he has just 3 hours of the leisure. This means that the leisure is scarce here and he has abundant income. So, in order to get a little leisure, he is ready to sacrifice more income. This means that he is willing to sacrifice more abundant item for less scarce item, to gain less scarce item. So the extra utility from the added hour of leisure will perfectly offset the loss of utility from having fewer units of income, as we have shown in the diagram. But as we move down CD range, now look at the CD range, the sacrifice reduces because this is a point where he has enough amount of about equal amount of the leisure and the income. So the ratio changes. And will obtains more leisure, the amount of the income person is willing to give up gain, still more units of leisure becomes smaller and smaller, and the same can be seen downward on the indifference curve. That is the reason that indifference curve is convex to the origin. The indifference map, an indifference map comprises a number of indifference curves. Each successive curve to the northeast reflects a higher level of utility. It is useful to consider indifference map, which is a whole family or field of indifference curve shown in the figure. Now let me show you in the figure. This is an indifference map. So we see you have also already studied in the indifference curve in the microeconomics that an indifference curve to the right of above and right of another indifference curve show a higher level of satisfaction. The same is case here in case of the supply of labor or the individual, the labor indifference curve, where you see that a higher indifference curve I2 is giving more utility as compared to the I1, and I3 is giving more utility to the labor as compared to the I2. So I2 shows higher than I1 and I3 shows higher utility than I2 to the labor. Different work leisure preferences. Just as the tastes of consumer for public goods and services vary greatly, so the individual preferences for work and leisure. It is totally depend on the nature of the individual. Some of the people may be work loving, while the other will be leisure loving. So the different individuals have different preferences. Different preferences for the relative desirability of the work and leisure are reflected in the shape of one indifference curve. In 3a, we present the risk curves of workaholic who places a low value on the leisure and high value on work. This is the A1. Here we see that the figure A, this one. This is that we show. 3a we present the indifference curve of a colleague who places a low value on this and high value on income. Note that the curves are relatively flat, indicating the individual give up an hour of leisure for a relatively small increase in the income. Here the too much leisure he sacrifices for little income. Similarly, in the second case, the different curve of the leisure lover, high value of leisure and low value of income. Here, he sacrifices enough income to gain little leisure, so he is a leisure lover. Budget constraint. The supply of labor, this depends on the budget constraint as well. The decision to supply labor depends on the budget constraint as well. The budget constraint can be drawn for each possible wage rate. We draw the budget lines on the basis of the wage rate. The wage rate determines the slope of the budget line. Specifically, budget lines find out clockwise from right origin as we move. So let me decide what is budget constraint, which shows all various combination of income and leisure that a worker might realize or obtain given the given wage rate. So instead of reading this slide, let me explain it on this table. This graph we see again the income has been measured on y-axis and we see the leisure measured on the x-axis. Now, dear students, the individual has 24 hours of fixed time. First, we suppose that the wage is $1 per hour. $1 per hour. If he works 24 hours and take no rest, then he can earn maximum $24, given the wage rate is $1 per hour. So we get a point here where 24 lie. Another case, the extreme can be that suppose he doesn't work and he look at all the 24 hours to leisure, he will be here. So by joining these points, we get the first budget line. This is the budget line when the wage rate is 1. Now suppose that the wage rate increases to 2. So, and he allocates his 24 hours to work and takes 0 leisure. So 24 into 2, 48. He will be earning $48 if he allocate all his time to earn to the work. Or if he doesn't work, he will be here where the 0 is the income and 24 hours the leisure. So the second budget line is this one. If suppose the wage rate increases to 3, so and he works for 24 hours, so 24 into 3, $72 he will be earning. If he doesn't take a second leisure, he will be earning 72. This is one extreme. The other extreme can be if he doesn't work and takes 24 hour leisure, he will be here. So this is the third budget line. And if the wage rate increases to 4, so working for 24 hours, he will be at $96. Or if he doesn't work, he will be at the 24 By joining this, we get another curve, which is another budget line for the wage rate, $4 per hour. So, students, it's enough for today. The theory of the labor supply is continued. We will discuss its part two in the next lecture. We will be determining the quantity of the labor supplied. So, thank you very much.